All right, welcome back to PlanetGenX reacts to the Mandalorian, episode 5? Episode 5? Yeah, it's episode 5. It's actually chapter 21.
Chapter 21. Yes.
With called
they got that weird format.
Yeah, which we'll talk about. Actually, I want to speak to that a little bit, but yeah, it's called the Pirates. Yes, the Pirates. Arr.
Arr.
Yeah. Good pirate stuff. Hey, did you know what the Pirates of the Caribbean was rated?
No.
Arr!
Ha 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 ha.
Yeah, it's really bad. You know, hey, but did you know what a pirate's favorite restaurant is?
I've heard this one, but I can't remember it.
Arby's.
Yeah.
I think that's all the pirate jokes I have for today. But yes, this is Mandalorian Season 3, Episode 5, Chapter 21, The Pirate. And that poor old pagoda, man. I love how, like, every time we come to Nevarro, it's all about the pagoda. Y'all know that, right? Like, the pagoda is what they focus on from the get-go, and every time we see it, it gets prettier and prettier, and more upgraded and nicer looking.
Until this episode.
Yeah, right. But that, yeah, so notice at the beginning, it's very good looking. It's the best we've ever seen it. So that's one of the first things right off the back. I love Karga playing Sim City. Yeah. Right before the pirates arrive, he's got to get up. You know, he's basically playing the Star Wars version of Sim City in there, and then the pirates show up. Gorian Shard. Here we get to see this pirate again. This
Swamp Thing's uglier cousin.
Swamp Thing reject. It's like his bad stunt double.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just can't. I don't like the look of the guy. I really don't. And
you're not alone.
I'm not sure the voice is right either. I don't know if
the voice is kind of whatever.
Yeah, you know? I don't know if it doesn't fit him or it's just the wrong voice altogether. I don't know. But anyway, he's there and he's the pirate guy. How about Karga's? Go ahead.
I was getting some definite Hoggle vibes from the Ugnaught on his ship.
Right.
I don't know about you.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. He did come off like that.
Yeah.
How about Karga with the he shot first?
Yeah.
That was great, man. You gotta love shit like that. I love the little quotes. Boy, and I may have mentioned this. I think I did mention this in the last episode. The New Republic just sucks. Those people were so much better off under the Empire. I mean, really, I know it's terrible to say, but when it comes to law and order, man, the Empire had it down pat. And the New Republic, you know, after the Battle of Endor, and they took over, basically, they started getting rid of the majority of the capital ships, to where they just had, like y'all see in this episode, you see Delphi Rangers. You see their little base out in nowhere, and it's awesome. We'll get to
see Zeb.
Yeah. We'll get to all that. Let's see where I'm at. Yeah, the pirate ship. Before we get to that, the pirate ship has come in. That you'll notice a lot of Clone Wars tech on there. All that ship and guns and everything's all stuff that they've repurposed from the Clone Wars. Yep. Mainly from like the Separatists. Wasn't nothing left. Nobody left to use that stuff, so it was just pretty much there for anybody to steal or sell or whatever.
Or retrofit to a Corsair.
Yeah, retrofit to a Corsair. There you go. So then we get to the New Republic military base, the Delphi Rangers. You get to see the trophy helmets. I like above the bar there. They got the trophy helmets and stuff. They even have the droid. Like the probe droid from Empire, he's got his head up there too. And I love, it definitely has a very almost like, I don't know, like Top Gun feel where they're at the base, and hanging out. You got the rock music playing. They're just chilling out, playing some billiards.
Well, the fact that all the structures were basically Dugans didn't help, right?
Right, exactly, yeah. And at the bar, that little bar setup, it's like, that dude, I can't think of his name right now. Captain. It's here somewhere. Jesus, where the hell did I put it?
Teva,
yeah, Captain Teva. He has to use that phone. Like it reminded me of the Old West. Like it's like the only phone in town, So he uses the bid phone. That was pretty cool. And then Zeb, coming in was just a nice little. If you know, you know. If you don't, it's okay. It's just a nice little nod to see him in there, especially since he's not a human character. That was the best part about it, because I kind of feel like they cheapen out a lot with some aliens at times.
Well, I mean, the fact that he's mainly from Rebels, which was a kind of a different theme to even the other cartoons and stuff that they did.
Like Clone Wars.
It was a fully CG character.
Yep. Yeah.
It was pretty cool.
Yeah, they're realizing a lot of those this year. Like with Ahsoka. Now we're seeing Zeb. We're going to see Ezra eventually. Mm-hmm. And maybe that was it. I think when I said Ahsoka, that was my aunt, and I already said her. So yeah, we see Zeb in the blue uniform. There's some significance to the blue uniform. I forgot what it was. I don't know if that denotes the Delphi Rangers. The Mandalorians were calling him Blue, but I didn't know if that was just because of the being Republic. The blue just meant Republic. I didn't know. Yeah. So, but yeah, some of them have orange jumpsuits, some of them have blue, and it is difference. It was awesome seeing Tim Meadows.
Right? Good old SNL slump.
Yeah.
Alum making a show.
Slumlord,
yeah. And we got to see Elia again.
Yeah.
We know what she's been up to.
Yeah, she's manipulating like a motherfucker, man.
I thought that was some great storytelling. I was like, where are they going with this? What's the end game? What's the next part of the puzzle? And like, they just drop it on us right there.
Well, here's so what we know is like clearly Pershing was the guy who basically brought back Palpatine, more or less. Started the whole thing. And she had to make sure he died. Mission accomplished. She's also likely the reason Gideon's alive. We had already heard stories that he didn't make it to trial, so we knew that was going to end up happening. So I hadn't gotten there yet, but we know he does not make it to trial, so he's gotten there. Right. I'm sure she had something to do with that. But anyway, yeah, so Teva goes to Meadows and is like telling him, like, dude, there's some shit going down over here. Y'all really need to look at it. And you just realize how ineffective the New Republic is. And that's what I'm saying. Like, these guys you wouldn't have this under the Empire. It just would have gotten handled. It wouldn't have been, we don't have the resources this year.
Yeah. Well, it's also something that we talked about in a previous episode, the one with Dr. Pershing his last time, how they were just getting rid of all of this infrastructure, right?
Yeah. Everything. Like
so,
those same discs that were Pershing was had to go through and get rid of and stuff. You saw all of them on Meadows' desk. He had a ton of them, same exact stuff. But we could see that she's obviously up to no good, because he was just about to give clearance to send them, and she's like, "But they didn't sign the charter." Oh dear.
Maybe somebody needs to tell them how important it is to be on the charter.
Yeah, no doubt. Boy, she is playing them like a fiddle.
Yeah.
A lot of religious overtones in this season. You notice that, right?
I mean, I kind of picked up on there being religious overtones in the whole like Mandalorian series. For me.
Well, you know that whole scene where he's got that shard with that writing on it, that green shard of Beskar or whatever it is that got that. That's translated from Exodus. It literally comes from the Bible that they took that text from. Yeah, and what reminded me of Grief Karga leading his people like Moses. That was another religious overtone I got from when he had to escape his city. Yeah. Same exact thing. Like he was Moses leading his people. So there was another again, just they've had him throughout the whole season, and I was just I noticed that, and I thought, it's continuing. Just another little nod to religion.
I never saw it like that. I always saw Karga as like looking for the next level up in fame, notoriety, riches, whatever.
Oh, well,
that was his end.
Sure, yeah. At first, that's where he was. Now, I'm saying in this particular episode, though, he has to lead his people away from the city because of the pirates, and the whole trek. It's just like the trek if you've ever seen any biblical movies of Moses leading his people away from Jerusalem, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, out of Jerusalem. Yeah. So R5. We wonder how R5 or how Tiva
Fucking R5.
Yeah,
We've
R5.
talked about his backstory, right?
Yeah, and maybe they're overdoing it a little bit with him. I don't know. It's a little much. It's like all of a sudden R5 is super everywhere like R2 was now.
I think this was a perfect thing to include because was he in Clone Wars or Legends?
No, he was.
He was in one of them.
Well, I mean, they're telling us he was in the Clone Wars. That he fought in the Clone Wars, but I don't know.
I actually
you talking about the show? He may have been. I don't remember.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not horrible. It's just something, I don't know. It is what it is, and they had to have some reason for Tiva to find the Mandalorians. And I guess that worked out as well as any. And you can see that they were war buddies.
Yep.
We know that Tiva goes way back. Did you notice Din has the talking stick?
I did.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. So obviously the armorer's hammer is a symbol of leadership or importance or something like that. A high station, perhaps. Whoever holds that has the lead at the moment.
It's a shamanic staff, basically, right?
Yep. So I liked that. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Vizsla, who we think's going to get up there and talk shit because he's always been at odds with Din.
And it sounds like he's talking shit too.
It does.
Right?
They set it up perfect. Like he's talking shit, and then but we will help this man
because we're Mandalorians.
Yeah.
Damn it.
About time he did the right thing.
Yeah.
And then Bo steps up again too, which like I said, I really think that she swallowed the Kool-Aid. That this isn't some attempt to take him and use him to her advantages. I think she genuinely is down with what's going on, and I fully expected another a little confab between her and the armorer again.
Yeah, her accepting her role that's been handed to her by the armorer is a sign of that, right?
Yes, no doubt, absolutely.
And as far as the armorer is concerned, I still have to harp on this probably every time I talk about her. Emily Swallow is doing some excellent VO work there.
Yeah.
That's not really how she sounds or how I've heard her sound anyway.
Right. Yeah.
It's on point.
It is good. I really like it. But yeah, it's clear that, well, Bo steps up again for one thing because she's the most experienced. I mean, she's led the Clone Wars. She's done it all, which she's got to be a lot older than she looks, honestly. Unless she was a teenager when all of Rebels was going on or Clone Wars was going on. I mean, maybe that's it, but
I could have seen her being young, but a teenager is kind of stretching it.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I would expect her to be. They should have given her gray hair. That probably would have helped me, help sell it for me a little bit.
Maybe she'll take off her wig in the next episode.
Yeah, that'd be great. So we're back to the pagoda again, and it's half destroyed. So, clearly they intend to show this as how the city rises and falls through this pagoda and the way
and we get another little shot of what remains of the IG-11 statue.
Yep.
That's kind of cool.
And then when somebody said something about the odds being 10-1, I said it before Den even said it. I made my wife give me a fist pump for it because I said, I like those odds. And then not 2 seconds later, I like those odds. I was like, yes, yep. I got it.
And I knew the next line that followed it too, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I bet you do.
I bet you do. Let's see. Yeah. And then Vizsla comes in and saves the day with his whatever that is. Heavy repeating backpack thingy. Yeah, that was.
But the best part of that was obviously the armorer.
Yeah, her just coming in with no damn weapons. I mean, like laser weapons of any kind. It's just straight up
kicking all kind of ass.
Little tongs and a hammer. Yeah, she was tearing it up, man. I thought the surfing Mando was cool too.
Right.
On the back of that was pretty wild. But then when they shot down the damn Corsair, man, I thought, here they are trying to protect this city, and they shoot this sumbitch down, and here it is going to crash and level the whole entire city. But they had it.
I thought it was going straight for City Hall.
I did too, man. I thought, oh no, what have they done? And then all of a sudden, it's like, no, I'm going over here instead in this valley that you don't know is really there.
Right.
Yeah, that was a well hidden little layer there because that was a compositing layer they put it in. Yeah. Hi, magistrate. Yeah, I like how the robot was like, "Hi, magistrate." He forgot to uplift himself there. Now the Mandos have a home. We suppose. That's a good thing.
For Bo.
Yeah, Bo's got to go off and do her own thing because now she's had a confab, like I said, with the armor. She tells her to remove her helmet. Of course, Bee's look kind of like, what the fuck? Why has she removed her helmet?
Right.
And it basically asked Bo to be the chosen one, more or less.
Yeah.
Go find all the Mandalorians and bring them home. I mean, there's more biblical.
Unite the realms.
Yeah, there's more biblical stuff. Go out and bring them home. The X-Wing finds the Lambda. That was cool, seeing the Lambda shuttle.
Yes.
And what I mistakenly described as a green R2 unit was in fact an R7 unit.
Right.
And I loved that flying probe. We've seen that probe before on R2, but just on a stick. I was
going to say, yeah.
It was so cool to have the little probe drone doing that.
Actually come out and go in.
Yeah, it was awesome. And of course, we find out that Moff Gideon survived, and the last thing we see is him doing a little test for something, and they say there's a Mandalorian Beskar fragment in there.
Well, they kind of dumbed it down, right? He was like, there's Beskar residue, which most of us are like, ding, right? Yeah. And then they came back, oh, well, Mandalorian.
Yeah, and I said, no, Mandalorian be framed.
Right. Well, here's my question. What is up with Nevarro?
How do you mean?
Because obviously what they're leading to is there's some unknown thing going on with Nevarro as opposed to the Foundling.
Oh! Well, this is the what do you call them? The First Order. Mm-hmm. This is the beginning of the First Order.
Right.
Yeah. This is what this intends to show is how inept the New Republic was and why the First Order was so easily able to just come back and say, we're back, baby, and better than ever. And we've even got a bigger ball. The giant Death Star, Death Planet.
I don't know. I also kind of wonder, the question is there a Mandalorian out there?
That's
you say obviously Mando was framed. The other question is, is there another Mando out there? Is there a Mando in their midst?
Who's out there that we could say has Mando armor that's not dead? Boba Fett?
There was a little show, called The Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. Because let's talk about a couple things. Now that we've gone through basically the show, Disney is very upset over the ratings.
Right.
They're not happy with them. And there's some theories. One, finally in this episode, the backstory's been simplified. The expectation for guys like you and me, it's not an issue. For anybody who's watched Rebels, the Clone Wars, all this stuff, this is awesome. But for the normal people out there, you don't know what the hell's going on. And this is the first time in this whole season that we've actually got a simplified backstory that can kind of clue you in on what's been going on. And that's probably part of it. People are put off by that because they don't know what's going on. Especially like we talked about how that first episode started. It was super weak, him just getting set up. And there's a reason for that, I'll say in just a second. But also with using Book of Boba Fett to deal with that issue with Grogu that shouldn't have been dealt with. It should have been left in Mando, and it probably should have just stayed with Luke and not ever left to come back.
Right.
But they insisted on doing that. I think that left a bad taste in people's mouth. Plus, a lot of people forgot it happened. They forgot all about it, and were like, "What the hell? Where did Grogu come back from?" So there was that going on. But I think the main thing is this is one of those few stories, movies, TV shows it's actually written like a book. And that's not how TV is normally laid out. And that's why we're, saying Chapter 21, The Pirate. I mean, this show has been laid out like a book.
Well, not only that, also, you get a lot of, like, Din didn't have a whole lot of screen time this time as opposed to some other episodes, right?
Right. Yeah.
There's a lot more character development outside of our primary players. And I think a lot of people aren't used to that. I think it's great. I just think some people aren't used to it and aren't prepared for it.
Well, I think the guys on Screen Crush, the guy with the dog that I like watching, I'm actually starting to like this dog now. I know I was put off by the dog at the beginning, but this dog's actually starting to grow on me. He's pretty fucking cute, actually. Screen Crush, guys, check it out if you haven't. They're pretty cool. He basically said that it's getting like Star Trek. Like, Star Wars is very cut and dry, good against evil, whereas Star Trek, even though a lot of people watch it, it's more esoteric.
Yeah.
And there's not, esoteric's just a word. Now Star Wars is starting to get like that, starting to get like Star Trek. And I think he's got a valid argument. He's quite right. And especially having the expectation that we're all super uber Star Wars nerds and watch everything to know what's going on in these episodes of Mandalorian is a bit of a high expectation, I guess.
Maybe, but I think the main reason that Mando picked up so much of a following in the beginning was it delivered on something that a lot of people want in their media consumption in general, especially with shows, but just in general. Escapism, pure and simple, clear, concise. You don't have to think about it. You watch it, you get a little dopamine rush.
Yep.
You come back next week.
Yep.
Now they're trying to do a little bit more pushing of boundaries, which I think is important, and I think it makes a great show, but I'm not everybody, right?
Well, and I'm just like Screen Crush guy, man. I wish I could remember his name, but I'm all for it. I think it's Ryan. Anyway, I'm all for it, man. But I'm an uber nerd, so I've seen him. In fact, I'm going back and watching Rebels right now because I remember the first two seasons very well, but the third, and I don't even know if I've seen the fourth. I know I've seen the third, and I'm not even sure I've seen all of it. But I want to go back and touch up on it myself. But that also could be just the ADHD in me that just has to have that. All the right
pieces be in the know.
Place. Yeah, I got to be in the know. That's why I'm watching that dude's YouTube. I just watched the fucking show. I don't need to watch his shit, to know what happened. I mean, what's great about his is the Easter eggs, That's where I come up with a lot of tidbits. And a lot of some of the stuff he pulls out, it's like, obviously he's got people. I know he's at least got one other guy, but when you have, he's got 1 million something subscribers too, so I guess you can afford to have people. And that helps, but they really do come up with some great Easter eggs, and that's why I'm giving him a plug, because I do some of the stuff I bring to you here is just stuff I've learned from him that none of us would probably know otherwise without him.
I'm sure he's got people that help, but at the same time, he is also an uber nerd.
Oh, he is definitely an uber nerd.
A lot on his side being put into it.
He had a great short the other day that he put out. He was pissed about something he missed. It was great.
Yeah?
Yeah. Like, I can't believe I fucking missed it. He said it in the short. But so I mean, that's pretty much why I think it's tanking for a lot of people. The Uber nerds are fine with it, but the casual audience is not.
Right.
Yeah. So listen,
I still think it's just not being classic escapism, but
yeah, no, I agree.
We can agree, we can not.
Yeah,
doesn't matter.
Yeah, well, I think I do agree. And hopefully we'll see what transpires next week with them. And so far, so good. I was very happy with this episode. I thought it forwarded the story great. Like I said, gave the people the backstory they needed. Probably would have done them a lot more service sooner. Like that first episode that y'all had nothing to do.
Yeah.
Maybe that should have been the episode that gave some backstory.
Right.
And people would have been a lot more in the know. But what do I know? I'm just a podcaster with 13 subscribers.
So now what? Eliah's going to go to Navarre?
Who?
Or he's going to go to Coruscant? Elijah Kane. She's got to tie in more later,
Yeah, I don't.
right?
Yeah, but I mean, how many episodes? So this was 5th. So we got 3 episodes left. This was the 5th, right? Yeah, we got 3 episodes.
This was the 5th, but I think they do 10, don't they?
Do they
or were they cutting down?
I heard it's maybe it was Star Trek, the new Star Trek that we were just talking about in the other episode, in the other podcast.
Yeah.
Somebody is going from 10 to 8, and I'm like, yeah, it makes me so fucking mad, dude. I mean, like, what? Eventually, a series is going to be an episode. I mean, like, how much are y'all going to keep shaving off these? We used to have 26 episodes a year of shit, and some stuff went year round.
Yeah,
but then it seemed like it went to 14. Depending on the show, some shows would do 12, and then some might have special episodes. Like Doctor Who was a 12 and a 13th special episode. I think one year they might have had 2 special episodes, so there'd be 14 episodes. I think they did 2 years like that or something. But anyways, it just got to be the norm was 12 episodes, and I think the blame for that lies in HD. Actually, the effects take so long to render from standard definition going up to HD. That they had to start adding in time. That's why Doctor Who had like a year and a half between each season. It got ridiculous there. You couldn't fucking remember what was going on between the shows and everything else. That's why I'm not nearly as happy with New Who, especially the last few years. Not like it started out with David Tennant and everything with Chris Eccleston. Chef's Kiss was fantastic. It got too esoteric.
Yeah.
Way. Anyway, that has nothing to do with The Mandalorian, and we're so happy that you guys joined us today. Stick back with us next week, and we'll have another Picard, another Mandalorian reaction, and another episode of the PlanetGenX podcast. So please click that subscribe button and that like button, because Brian's got kids to feed. So y'all make sure you join us next week, all right? Peace out. We'll see you on the flip side.